Man, this is exciting. A whole new era begins with that clap. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Eddie Pence.
Hey.
I'm Jerry Rocha.
What's up?
That's Cody, who's fully clothed, and this podcast is all about him. Welcome to Good Willow Hunting. We finally made it. Episode 1, Predator.
Yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. Dun, dun, ba-da-bum, ba-bum.
I'm going to put up the Predator poster right now. Sorry, Cody.
There it is. Look, that's a great fucking soundtrack.
And now Cody's back.
Isn't that a great soundtrack?
Everything. What's not great about it? The whole movie.
Cody, it took him about a month and a half to see it.
I did watch the second half in one sitting.
Wow, good for you.
I had a feeling Cody wasn't going to love it as much as we did when he texted me going, did they just shoot up an entire forest? And I was like, yeah, they did. They spent about 5 minutes unloading on a forest.
Based on some guy being like, there's something out there. Oh, well, I guess we'll just annihilate the jungle.
That shows the panic that these macho men now have.
That is true.
There's a point to it.
I mean, that's like if Andrea is like, did you hear a noise? And I walk into the living room with a Jesse Ventura minigun and just start blasting everything. Like, okay, well, here we go. Let's see. That thing, well, the cats are gone and so's all of our shit. But if anyone broke in, we got them.
They're dead. We don't have a wall anymore.
But that was kind of the point, right? Making fun of that kind of, you know, like especially the we hit nothing, you know, like all that.
That was the whole point of like showing how scared these now ultra alpha male guys are.
Right, they're scared shitless of this thing.
That they're literally just firing at nothing.
They probably got rid of a few of the last snakes that ever existed.
They eliminated at least 3 species.
It'll never be seen again.
They extinct at least 3 species.
So, how do we let's break down Predator. Cody, was there anything you enjoyed about the movie? Let's go there. Let's go, or do we go dislikes first? What would be better? Likes?
I can give you like some general observations first.
Yeah, let's go. All right, let's
go.
So,
my first observation was that Carl Weathers is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here.
Am I wrong?
Well,
I mean, okay,
he's the most experienced actor
out of anyone in that movie. But how great was he in that, right? He was legitimately great in that movie, I thought.
He's very good, and he's even better by comparison.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's why it was kind of funny to me a lot of the time, because like Carl Weathers is acting his ass off, and everyone else is
not really.
Bill Duke a little bit, but he's even like on the kind of hammy side of things for a lot of it.
Yeah, he's doing the over the top tough. My favorite part of Bill Duke's character is when he's running up the hill singing the little. He's clearly gone. Yeah. Like this guy's lost his mind, and he's like, "I'm having some fun tonight. I'm having." Like that was okay. Like that. The rest of it, just the over the top, like tough and. Man, but dude, Carl Weathers
is Carl Weathers deserving of the Oscar nom that Jerry
I'm not
says
wrong,
he is.
Huh? Best supporting actor, at least you got to throw him something. Especially now that they're doing 10.
Yeah.
Now that it's like the Major League Baseball playoffs.
Yeah,
you
like got to put him in, right?
You got if they were doing the rule of 10 back in '87,
he gets the nom.
He gets. Come on, he was so like you said, Cody. Acting wise, he carries that fucking movie.
Yeah.
I mean. I'm telling you,
he's the best actor in that movie.
Yes, that my men were on that shot. Like that was like, what? You could tell Schwarzenegger's like, oh fuck, what do I do now?
Fuck, I gotta act.
God damn it! Like that.
I can't just say my crappy lines.
Right. Yeah, right. Like it was that. I mean, he was so good in that movie. Yes. Carl, that is they had to make him one of the last ones gone. Yeah. Because that, like, okay, fuck, let's just have Arnold in this thing fist fight now. Like that was, you know what I mean? Like, okay,
all the actors are gone. Let's just do action stuff.
Yeah, now we just have to have Arnold just fighting this thing because with the acting gone, it's just, and it is interesting. Once Carl Weathers dies, it's almost a silent movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like right out, it's just like
the script is just like, and then by the time they get to that, after Carl Weathers dies in the script is just 3 more pages. It's just all action.
All right, so I think you'll enjoy this comparison. So. All right, Carl Weathers, the script is Cowboys up until 96, and then when he dies, the script is Cowboys ever since. Just okay, we're not going to have anything happen. We're not going to get anyone excited. We're just going to...
Nothing of any meaning.
Nothing of any meaning is going to go on. What else? Carl Weathers, boom. Do we do a Carl Weathers moment there? Bam, there it is. Oh, yeah. Fuck, the great Carl Weathers.
My other observation is that, so I think a lot of times with these types of movies, like Jaws, for example, it has like the less is more approach where like, okay, we ease into it, the less we see, the more scary it is. I think because of the way that the visual effects have aged, I think that Predator is a more is more movie, where I think that the actual when you actually see Predator and then like when the mask comes off and stuff, that's the best stuff for me.
Yes.
But like the camouflage stuff to me looks really bad.
It does. It really does. I looking back on it when he's bending light and stuff.
Yeah.
He almost looks like he's 3 feet tall. Like it's not. It just doesn't. He doesn't have that imposing presence that it has. When I get it, like I think they just should have had nothing. There's a couple of scenes like when that one scene when it's kind of walking towards and it kills Shane Black.
Yeah,
it looks all right, but most of the other times, like when it's up on the tree and then its eyes blink, that looks stupid now.
They should have They should have done more of like the practical effects where they just have a couple tree limbs move.
Yes,
stuff like that.
Yep.
Not worry about trying to show
a
bending light figure.
Yeah,
or just keep the thermal stuff because that stuff works.
That was great. And not that I mean, again, I think it should be on the list, but they do a better job of that in Predator 2. There's a lot less of the camouflage Predator. It happens a few times, but for the most part, it's just out, right? But like that was, all right, come on, let's keep going. I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
I think that it was a little bit confusing trying to figure out exactly like what was going on with Predator 2. Like, does it shoot lasers? Does it does it shoot fireworks? Apparently,
right. It's it isn't. Do we even? It's only until the end of the movie that Schwarzenegger figures out what it's doing. But it really isn't until Predator 2 that it hammers home it's just a trophy hunter.
Yeah.
Right? Like they hinted it a little bit in this one.
Well, when he's petting the skull.
Right, he's cleaning it. He cleans it up.
He's cleaning the skull. You can tell these things mean something to him.
Right. And then
he's not eating it.
Right. And then when Schwarzenegger, when the woman tries to grab the gun and he kicks it away, he puts two and two together. Right, that's the one moment when he realizes, you don't be armed. It only comes after you.
And then also when you see him he doesn't kill the female.
Right, because she wasn't trying to do
and hunters usually don't kill the female.
Right.
You understand? You usually kill. Like if you're a deer hunter, you kill the buck. You don't kill the doe.
Right.
So that's sort of like those are unwritten or unspoken things about hunting that they did in this movie, which were nice.
Yeah, the weird because it was the weapon, the laser gun that he shot.
Yeah.
But it was weird. Like sometimes it looked like a laser, sometimes it looked like a little missile that he shot out, right? Like it was
it could have been several things.
Right, could have been several things. Technology. Yeah. I was
now we did my other co-host on Swings and Misses, Jen Sturger.
Yeah.
She had never seen Predator either.
What?
Yeah, I know. And we gave her a bunch of shit for it.
Jesus.
And so she finally went and watched it too. And the one thing is she thought it was too funny because she went and found out that the guy that played the Predator in the suit
was Van Damme.
Well, it was also wasn't the same guy that played Harry and the Hendersons.
Yes, but for the first 60% of the shoot, it was Van Damme. It was Van Damme.
I didn't know that.
Van Damme was in the suit, and the suit looked like a stupid praying mantis.
Yeah,
it was terrible. So they scrapped it all and they reshot it with the Harry and the Hendersons.
And so now she can't watch the movie without thinking it's Harry and the Hendersons. So she thinks it's a comedy. So I don't know if that has any effect on you watching. Have you seen Harry and the Hendersons?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. I think I've seen it all actually.
How much did you hate these? So Carl Weathers does all this great acting, and then now it's just going to be Pun City with Schwarzenegger when they take out the.
Do you think Schwarzenegger went into the director's office like, look, I got to have my stuff. You're giving
he has a pun script guy.
Carl Weathers is acting circles around me right now.
I need to say knock knock. I need to say stick around.
He goes, this is a Schwarzenegger movie. People need to see Schwarzenegger.
They want the puns. All right, so were those your big? You got more observations?
Yeah.
Oh
I
shit.
got at least one more.
All right.
So we were talking about how the last the last bit of the movie is 3 pages of script and it's a silent movie.
Yes.
My favorite part of the movie is that section.
It's great. It's fucking great.
I think it's a lot better than the platoon in the jungle stuff because I think it becomes like this like cat and mouse game that's really interesting. But also, like I said, you get a closer look at Predator, and you can see like a lot of the really cool like practical effects that are going on. The suit it actually looks. I think it helps that it's at night, and I think the suit looks really rubbery during like those daytime shots, but at night it looks a lot
awesome,
better.
right?
Yeah, they're able to hide the,
And also, like, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that the first movie where you saw Schwarzenegger just get the living shit kicked out of him?
Yeah, he was invincible up until that point. I mean, Terminator, he got the shit, but he kept coming.
Right, he was getting shot up, but this was like where he was the good guy, and this thing, that scene where it just fucks him up, and he gives it a haymaker, and it just does the Undertaker no sell on him, and like I thought that was, as just a kid who you're used to seeing Schwarzenegger as like unstoppable, that scene where the Predator just grabs him by the neck and just lifts him up, you never saw that happen to him.
You've never seen him outpowered,
you're like,
outmanned before. He's always been the strongest, most intimidating thing in every movie he's been in.
And I remember in that movie, I thought, well, maybe he could fight it, and then when it just grabs him, you're like, oh shit, no,
he's got to actually use his brains.
Yeah, he's
fucked.
That whole primal, and that was actually the best acting I think Schwarzenegger had done up until that point. Is that primal scream he gives out when he's ready to fight it? That was awesome. When he's holding up the torch, like that was fucking great. I mean, that whole. You think
he brought Carl Weathers in to teach him how to do that?
And then the second best was a kill me. I'm here. Kill me. And I love the Predator just looks up and is like, nah, I'm not falling for that shit. And then just walks around. Man, that scene was fantastic. I thought that was the most tense moment in the movie too, is when he's up on the tree and you see the Predator climbing behind him and he's like, oh fuck, I can't move. Yeah. Or this thing, I'm dead before it even starts.
Yeah, and I also think too, and again, it's out of context because I didn't get to see it when it came out, but I had to imagine that the mask reveal thing was probably pretty awesome.
It was pretty awesome because as a kid, I didn't know if that was part of his real face or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then when it takes it off, and then, of course, that got such a laugh, the you're one ugly motherfucker. Like, that was that moment of like, okay, we can kind of laugh now. But yeah, that ending that's the best part of the movie. Oddly enough, Carl Weathers, if it weren't for Carl Weathers, I think it's a terrible movie up until that point. Carl Weathers makes it okay.
He carries you. He does all the heavy lifting to get you to the end.
And
then the end pays it off.
Yeah, it was. I mean, thank God for Carl Weathers because I couldn't imagine anyone else in that. Like
it was just a little repetitive for the first bit of it, and I think that one of the things I was looking for was to see like, is this going to be some kind of like metaphoric thing about war or something or soldiers? No, not really. It's just them. It's just trying not to get hunted and shooting into the jungle.
Right. I thought it kind of made fun of the 80s action movies.
I thought it did up until after the raid. It was. It seemed like a typical 80s action flick.
And then all of it gets systematically taken out piece. Like, and then like,
Which is why I love that movie so much. Because it wasn't the movie you're expecting it to be.
Exactly. And also, and one of the parts that after you have all this macho shit, I think Billy is the first one who says, I'm scared. Yeah. Like, who kind of seemed like the most silent, toughest member of that crew when Billy's like, I'm scared. And then, of course, that was like, even more, for me, even more than if it bleeds, we can kill it, or I ain't got time to bleed. What I thought stuck with me more than anything was he goes, there's something out there waiting for us, and it ain't no man. Yeah. I thought that was such a great little, I love that part of it. But again, I could have done without the 20 minutes of them being Boy Scouts and setting up every trap. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe just show them setting up one trap and you get the hint.
Especially with nothing else, none of it.
It was just so Schwarzenegger could show his biceps lifting up a tree trunk.
It was just a muscle montage.
Yes. That was a very pointless. Yeah. We're just going to they should maybe make one fucking trap and we're good. You know what I mean?
Especially when none of the traps fucking
only the log gets him. Only the log is what gets him at the end. And I even thought about it. The trap that Schwarzenegger first tried to get him in, I don't think that even hurts him. It was only like 2 feet above him, and it was just like 2 or 3 knives, right, on a log. Or, I don't even think that even hurts the Predator. But all right, so Cody, anything you thought was just this is the dumbest thing?
I mean, I think that, like I said, the first half of the movie, especially with the banter, is all pretty bad. Especially the pussy jokes are not great.
Bad.
But don't you find that intentional? Like, to me, like that was part of the setup of this is just a cheesy 80s action flick.
Yes, that's what I thought too. They were making fun of all that.
This is like ultra alpha
but
male,
also,
toxic masculinity shit.
But also that's what it is, though. I mean, how many times do we have to see biceps and people popping shirts off? And
Yeah,
stuff
but then
like
they all get wiped out.
Right, they all get slaughtered. Like, you know what I thought was interesting? The one thing, and here's why I think it is that parody, not parody, but it breaks down all those cliches, is the first time you see Carl Weathers is the money shot of him and Schwarzenegger doing the arm wrestle, and it's just his bicep. And that's the last thing you see of him, is from the bicep down of his severed arm shooting.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a
symbolic, we're
tearing down everything we showed you in the beginning of the movie. We're that's how I
think you are giving it way too much credit.
Everything is on purpose.
Yeah. Now, anything so you love the ending, the last half you really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So that's what took you forever to get there. Is you were like, is it just going to be another hour of this shit? I don't know if I could watch that. Is that what?
Well, I mean, again, like I said, I think that when it's like this less is more thing where you're just getting hints of Predator, just seeing like the thermal stuff. I found that interesting, but not necessarily something that I was enjoying continuing to watch, especially because every time it showed up in any pieces, it looked really bad.
Yeah.
And it kind of takes you out of the movie a little bit. Especially when you, again, don't understand really what it's doing. Or because, again, you see the thermal thing, and then you see, like, lasers shooting out.
Right.
And you're just kind of like, what is going on
is this
here
thing?
Exactly? So I just think up until that point, it's a little repetitive. And the picking people off one by one trope is a little bit, like, it rarely ever works for me.
Right.
Because I think it's done so many times.
Wasn't this one of the first ones, though?
This was.
I know that doesn't matter now because for you've seen it so many times, so it's hard to.
Well, the first thing I remember seeing, the first time I remember seeing it was The Thing. Is the one that
true.
I and I think The Thing is the one that does it probably the best.
The Thing is no. The Predator's a fun movie. I think The Thing is a
Thing's an all-time.
Thing's an
classic
all-time sci-fi horror. Like The Thing and the first Alien, I think are the two best horror sci-fi movies ever made. Like The Thing, oh my god, the way everyone gets picked apart in The Thing is so much more intense and frightening. And
but you're going into
The
Thing. You're going into from the beginning you're going into a sci-fi horror movie. This starts off as an '80s action film that turns into a sci-fi.
Sci-fi horror survival. Yeah. Cody says we're giving it too much credit. I think we're not.
No.
I think this is what they wanted.
I think you're spot on the severed bicep. Spot on.
See it again as it's falling. Oh man, and fuck, so great. That was. I remember that was a word I remember feeling so bad when he died. I was so bummed out when Carl Weathers got killed.
I got kind of bummed when Jesse was taken out. Because that was the height of wrestling. That was 86, 87.
He was on top, man.
I was huge WWF, and I was like, oh, I want to see
maybe Jesse kills him.
I want to see Jesse Ventura last this whole way.
He was like the first one after Shane Black,
I want to see Schwarzenegger tag in Jesse at the end. And they take it. They
beat it.
That's what I wanted. I wanted it to be a Schwarzenegger.
They
Jesse
do Demolition's finisher on the Predator.
That's what I wanted to see when I was a kid.
What would you have done, Cody, if that were the ending? If Jesse lived and the way they beat him is Schwarzenegger picks him up, and then Jesse Ventura stands on a tall tree stump
and guillotine.
No Predator shows up. Just that's how it ends.
Then he does the self-destruct. He's like, I can't beat this.
But then Jesse's like, run, and he holds him down.
Right, and he absorbs it. He dies.
He takes the blast. Jesse sacrifices himself.
Oh, man.
But that's when I was a kid. I thought Jesse would have a bigger part in that movie. I was a little bummed when he got taken out.
He was one of the first ones. That was
one of the reasons I went to see the movie, because I was such a wrestling movie.
Right. There's Jesse the body.
Ventura.
It's got to be brilliant.
And he talked about it all the time.
I'm in Predator. I stole that movie from Arnold. Then years later.
You don't know this, but I fucked the Predator.
I fucked Van Damme in that outfit. He couldn't stop me. All right, dude. Great, man.
Because he's a small guy.
He's a small guy. I'm a lot bigger than Jean-Claude. It doesn't matter how many martial arts he knows. I was able to hold him down. Like, all right, dude, Jesus Christ.
Stop it.
What if Jesse the Body admitted to that the way Marty Jannetty admitted he murdered a guy? I fucked Van Damme.
I fucked the shit out of Van
Damme. His will when he was in that Predator outfit.
I couldn't help myself. Predator.
His accent got me going. I was, oh shit, all right, man.
Like, you've never been blown till you've been blown by a predator.
Oh fuck. Yeah, it was but I do see like here's more ammo for our argument. Is like again the opening has that just we're the toughest people on earth helicopter ride, and then it ends with the most depressing helicopter ride where he's just like everyone's dead, he's just covered in shit.
Just laying there
like, oh god, I just came up against something that I hope I never see again. Like that was that was well, yeah, so
I'm surprised he's never returned to that franchise.
Yeah, he was going to do part. I forgot why he didn't do part 2, but he did.
I'm surprised now why he's never returned
I know.
to that franchise.
That would have been. Oh,
I mean,
man.
he's fucking driven Terminator into the fucking
into the ground gleefully, just stomping
but he won't
on
return
its corpse.
to the Predator franchise.
But he won't do Predator. Now, Cody, would this? Are you any interest at all in part 2 now? Any interest at all? Could you
see where it goes? You want to know where this goes, right?
Yeah, I really want to know like what the lore is and the storyline. It's so great.
Well, this part 2 is where you see the alien skull.
Yeah, part 2 is when you see the alien skull that's teased the Alien versus Predator from way back.
That they fucked that up.
That they ruined horribly. But yeah, part 2, I think you actually see the more of the hunter thing. I love that they didn't remake it.
No, they put it in the city.
It's in the city. It's in Los Angeles.
They took they did the concrete jungle.
So who's in the Arnold type role in Predator 2?
Danny Glover. He just plays.
Because when you think macho action lead, you think I'm too old for this.
But he's
shit.
good.
I know.
He's good at it.
But it's a way different casting than
way different.
It must be a way different movie then.
It is. It really like it's the premise. And I remember seeing the preview and the poster. And it is just him standing on a building. It's something like it said this summer he's hunting in a new jungle.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. And I thought Arnold.
It's a little more Law and Order ish.
It is. It's a little more
law. More detective.
Yeah.
It's a detective story.
It's a detective story. It's like Sherlock Holmes up against the.
It's kind of what it is.
It is a little bit.
It's not the 80 action
what
film.
Is this
it's the 70s detective drama.
Yeah, it's Kojak. It's Kojak fight. It's Columbo fighting the Predator.
It's kind of what it is.
This thing isn't on any element, but it cuts like steel. What is this? Like that? I mean, it's
doing detective work. Had you had Danny Glover in the jungle, he would have figured it out a long time ago.
He'd have solved it way quickly.
He's like, guys, we got to get out of this jungle.
It is. I don't know. I don't know. Judging on Cody's take, do you think he would hate part 2 or like it a little bit, or would it be the same? I don't know. So what would you give this?
It's definitely not the same movie.
It's not the same movie. If you're a critic, what do you give this?
Predator?
Let's say we're on a 0 to 5 star scale. Let's go there. 2.5. I'm gonna guess 2.5.
That's what I was thinking. Maybe 2.5.
So the most, like the least up of a thumbs up you could give something, right? Like your thumb is the least possible.
You're just breaking the horizon.
You're just breaking the horizon of a thumbs up, and it's mainly for the final hour, the final act.
Yeah, I would say the last like half hour is I think the drawing point, because like I said, there's some okay stuff and there's some okay kills along the way, but that's when it really kicks in and becomes like.
But then you're discounting
really
all of Carl Weathers' work.
I know.
Well, that's the thing. That's the tricky part is that Carl Weathers is both the best part, but all of his stuff is the worst part.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the best part of the worst part of the movie in your eyes, right?
I want to see a version of this movie where Carl Weathers and Arnold switch roles.
Oh,
that would be a good movie.
That would be. Could you imagine? That would be amazing.
That would
Man,
be good.
That would have been. Oh fuck! I would love.
It was also weird for me because.
Oh, that's a great point, Cody.
Because Carl Weathers, for me, like I've seen several of the Rocky movies, and I've seen Carl Weathers like jacked and stuff, but I've never seen like machine gun wielding Carl Weathers,
right.
And so I only know Carl Weathers like his work as like an older man. And
yes,
so it was a little jarring to be like watching him as an action hero.
Look at this dude doing this.
You guys see Action Jackson then.
Action Jackson, some great shit, man. That is fucking man. Well, there we go. I think this is a great first episode of Good Willow Hunting. Next week, Aliens. Ooh. Stay tuned.
I expect higher than a 2.5 stars on that.
I would think.
Predator was fun for us, but Aliens is a great film.
I think Aliens is a really good. I think Cody told me a little bit about. We'll tease it a little bit.
All right.
No, I won't tease it. We'll just wait. We'll just. So thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, spread the word, all that good shit. You know where to find us. We talk about it every week. Come find us. All of Good Willow Hunting, episode 1 next week. Aliens. Ooh. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.